What's up, Fight Fam, and welcome to Boxing Bros. This is episode 35. I'm Kaden, and I'm here with my co-host.
This is Trail, and I'm back, baby.
He's back.
And this is G.
All right, so we're going to dive right into it. The first topic we're going to discuss are the pay-per-view numbers for Wilder versus Fury 2. So it has been reported by Yahoo News that the fight sold between 800 and 850,000 pay-per-view buys, as we reported on Boxing Bros, and the break-even point was 1.2 million. So the fight fell short of the break-even point, 1.2 million buys, sold in between 800 to 850,000 pay-per-view buys. Trill, what are your thoughts on the pay-per-view buys? Was the fight a success based on the numbers?
Yeah, it's a success. People watched. It wasn't the predictions that they had expected, but it's the predictions that we had expected. So if y'all want to go check back to the old episodes of Boxing Bros, this is pretty in line for what we called it.
Just for clarification purposes, when you say we, who are you talking about?
It is what it is.
The left side of the panel, the left side of the panel. Listen, the excuses though that's coming out about the numbers is crazy. It's crazy to me. But
What are some of those excuses?
people were bootlegging the fight and they didn't reach. Y'all was still way off. Y'all was still way off of with y'all projections and predictions. People were saying it was way off of 2 million and more than 2 million buys.
2 million was always a pipe dream, seriously, but
That's how I feel. But first of all, this is what I wanted to say before we dived into this.
Okay.
I wanted to apologize.
Okay.
You know what I'm saying? For missing last week's episode, I wanted to apologize because I wasn't here to show the compassion. You know what I'm saying? That some of our viewers didn't show, and some of these gentlemen on this panel right here didn't show. I was supposed to be here, and I want to apologize to you, Complex, because I wasn't here to show.
You should be apologizing to me.
I apologize to Wilder.
No, I want to apologize to Complex because I wasn't here to show the compassion that Mark showed for Deontay Wilder when he threw in the towel. You know what I'm saying? If I was here, it wouldn't have went that far. I would have been here to stop you and throw in the towel.
So you calling me JD's?
JD's over here.
That's
He
all
tried
I'm
a little bit.
I try to help him.
So I just wanted to send out an apology from me, Trill, the Complex. I'm sorry. I wasn't here to throw in the towel and save you. You know what I'm saying? From that beating that you took, I was like, oh, but he was trying. He
just didn't have his legs.
He didn't have his legs.
Hey, those flowers were too heavy. Those flowers were too heavy.
He came in. Listen. He was trying to go out on his shell. But yeah.
He swung more than Wilder. That's another topic. Yo, you got a good heart, Trill. I appreciate that. So that's all you got for the numbers?
That's all I got for the numbers.
G, what's your thoughts on these numbers? Was the fight a success? Let me know.
Well, it depends on how you define a success.
Oh, God. Walk with
All
it.
right. You gotta walk me on this. Was it a financial success based upon ESPN and Fox? No, if they didn't break even, obviously that's a mess up, a miscalculation on their end. However, still 800,000 viewers watched that fight, so it's still a good look for Wilder and still a good look for Fury. Well, not so much for Wilder because he kind of got battered, but it's a great look. But it is a great look for Tyson Fury. So if anything, I would still say investment-wise, this is still a success for ESPN. Especially if they're trying to take Tyson Fury to the next level. So, initially I projected 1.5 million. That was before I knew they were also promoting part 3. But I still was like, it's going to be over $1 million, so I was wrong regardless. But, I don't know. All right, so another thing, it depends. Because normally, like, a pay-per-view fight is like, of that magnitude, $75. They charge $80, right? So,
oh my God.
No, but my difference was, no. So what I was thinking was that $5 difference was to cover the marketing expenses. Because they did go heavy with the promotion. So I was thinking that $5 difference that we had to pay went to cover their marketing costs. But they're still saying it fell short of their break even. So clearly from a financial standpoint, that's it's not a big L, but they clearly lost money. So, but Fury got paid, Wilder got paid. People are talking about this fight all over, everywhere. So I think still overall it's still a successful event. But I will say this also. I listened to Eddie Hearn talk about this fight in the pay-per-view sales, and he brought up a good point. 800,000 is still great. The problem is we're so used to Floyd Mayweather numbers that if a person doesn't hit $1 million, we're just like, all right, that's a flop.
Not accepting it.
But
not accepting it. I'm not accepting it because that's the same argument that Trill made and that I made in a previous episode. You guys can check it out for the record. That's why we started doing this on camera. It originally started with us arguing with each other, but then when it came time to fact check and all that, people would switch their tunes. So now you can actually go and look back. Look,
what did I switch?
No, not this here,
but
okay. Just it was a habit of yours. But what we know is in Trill, we said this. This fight's going to sell around 800,000, 750,000 to 850,000 pay-per-view buys, which would still be good. But it's bad for them to say 2 million because they know it's not going to hit 2 million. And we know that 850, 750,000 is a successful event. And they should be realistic. But they're lying to themselves if they think that this fight's going to sell more. And you were like, 2 million. You know what? Nah, it's gonna sell 1 million. You know what I'm saying? So whatever.
I already acknowledged
Wrong squad, yo. So now what you hear saying? It's really actually now you're here, humble, changing your tune. 800,000 is actually good. It's not good.
No. I'm not saying. I'm saying what Eddie Hearn's is saying, and all I'm saying is I actually agree with Eddie Hearn. And
you actually agree with us.
Yeah,
exactly. But I'm just saying.
Now you actually agree with us. Now,
in retrospect, clearly G was wrong. But however,
you mean you were being delusional, right? Yeah. Go ahead.
Hey man, listen. I believed in the powerhouses of Fox and ESPN.
Okay.
Pardon me if they couldn't get it right. You know what I'm saying? But anyways.
No, I do feel you though. I don't mean to cut you off. I do feel you. But like we said, they messed up.
Exactly. So
they messed up when they jumped out the gate with these crazy.
Bob Arum had me. He put the bet in my back. He said 2 million like it was easy money. I said,
calm down.
And Complex put the barrier in his back with the Bloomberg article.
Nah. What do you mean? You're like, 2 million. So, but Eddie, and this is where I'm slowly transitioning towards the zone. Even though I've been had the zone subscription, it's making sense because literally I had which I was telling them beforehand. I have a coworker who loves her some Deontay Wilder.
It's true. I know it.
Loves her. I mean, loves him. And even she bootlegged the fight. And I'm telling you, I argued with her the week before about how you have to support this fighter, and it's important that we support the pay-per-views and this and third. This is how he could leverage better deals and negotiate a fight with Anthony Joshua. She was like, yeah. Next thing you know, the day after, oh, you seen that fight? I was like, yeah, I took a mean L. She was like, oh, you did? Why? I was like, yeah, I made some things. I lost some money. She was like, oh, well, I watched it on Fire Stick. I said, hold on, what? I was like, you paid
She
for
low
it,
wilder
right?
though.
I was like, you paid for it, right? She was like, nah, yo, we just like bootlegged it. And I was like, yeah, I'm good with you. You know, and so hearing that, and this is like she loves Wilder. Like, if Wilder was here right now, man, I'm telling you, she'll pass out. That's how much she loves this dude, and she bootlegged it. So I'm beginning to sway towards what Eddie Hearns is saying, is that, the pay-per-view model is just too expensive, and it's just too many fights within the year that maybe these subscriptions are just it's the right direction. So maybe Al Heyman, you might have to start considering, like, you know what, you might need to replicate the DAZN model. And I know it takes a lot of upfront capital to do so, because DAZN, they just throw millions of dollars at fighters to get them to jump ship. But you might want to gather some investors and put some money together and actually compete, because this pay-per-view model is difficult to do, and it shows.
It's different. I don't mean to cut you.
No,
off.
that's all good.
And I don't want to prolong this conversation here, but that's tricky to me. I think people will pay for somebody they really want to see. There was opportunities to bootleg Floyd's fight. I know there was people that bootleg Floyd's fight, but then there was some people that definitely didn't bootleg Floyd's fight. You know what I'm saying? Because they wanted to see him.
But think about
you know
this.
what I'm saying?
Floyd comes once in a blue moon, though.
I'm talking about even Pacquiao. I'm talking about, you know what I'm saying, even other fights like with Pacquiao, and even fights with Canelo in it. You know what I'm saying? Like, it depends on if they really want to see you or not. You know what I'm saying? It depends on your star power or not. And saying that Al Heyman should do what DAZN's doing, where one person eats, don't make the other person, and just because one thing works for one person won't work for the others. Bob Arum got a subscription company, the ESPN Plus, and they're not even close to DAZN. DAZN just is in the pocket with what they're doing.
But ESPN is still a pay-per-view.
Yeah, but you know what I'm saying? But they got their own, but they're not doing what DAZN's doing. They got their own app and all that.
But they don't have the stars. You get what I'm saying? So it's like
And
the
that's
zone.
what
That's
I
why I
was
said
saying.
upfront capital.
And that's what we
The
was going
zone,
back to.
they were smart.
These guys,
They're
who's
buying
really a star.
stars. Yeah.
That's basically what I'm trying to
Like,
say.
if the zone gets Pacquiao, that's gonna be crazy, So
It's
the
who they
zone-
want to see.
Exactly.
That's what I said. It has nothing. It's who the people want to see. You know what I'm saying? I don't think it's because I think it's who the people. The people are gonna support who they want to support. If you're giving them a good fight, if you gave them the fight that they wanted to see, AJ and Deontay Wilder, that would have did numbers. You know what I'm saying? We wouldn't be sitting here talking about, you know what I mean? We wouldn't be sitting here talking about, it's so under. I think that would have did over 1 million, because that's what the people want to see. You know what I'm saying? That's all I'm saying.
All right, so I guess it's my turn. And I'll start by saying this. I don't want to hear any excuses about fights being bootleg. Fights have been bootleg since the beginning of time.
Yeah.
Let me take you back to a time in America when Mike Tyson was a champion and he was doing his thing and still selling well on pay-per-view, might I add. And selling Tyson fights were difficult because he was knocking guys out so fast. They used to have a promotion like $9.99 per round, and if it gets past a certain round, then you're good. Because it was hard to sell Tyson because he was knocking guys out so early. But let me take you back to the Tyson days when there was this thing called the black box. Now, there was the A side, which were the regular typical channels you would get with a basic cable package. And then there was the B side, which were the channels you would be premium channels like HBO, Showtime. And then there was pay-per-view channel where you would watch the pay-per-view buys, and it was on the B side, right? There was also other channels on the B side like 23 and 24.
Hey.
If you know what I'm talking about, shame on you. Shame on you. But I used to watch them too. All right, so anyway.
Y'all was watching 24.
Y'all was watching 24B. Don't lie to me. Don't lie to me on the black box. So I say that to say fights have been getting bootlegged since the beginning of time. Floyd fights have been being bootlegged, like Trill was saying, as well, but Floyd still put up numbers. Because when people care enough about the product you're giving them, they're going to pay to see it. And respectfully, I believe that if the fight was Anthony Joshua versus Deontay Wilder, I believe the fight does over 1 million easy. I think the fight does close to 2 million pay-per-view buys. If the fight was Anthony Joshua versus Tyson Fury, I believe in the UK, it breaks the UK record. And over here in America, it's going to get watched and streamed on the zone heavily, probably over 1 million streams. So this notion that, that these bootleggers, let's call it what it is. These men were not the stars you thought they were. Okay, and not too much a slight at Tyson Fury, because the UK numbers, I haven't seen them yet, but I'm pretty sure Fury held his end of the bargain in the UK. I'm sure Fury did his thing in the UK. But where it falls short is Mr. Bronze Bomber himself. That's where it falls short. This man to my right has often said that, this man, G, okay? He doesn't have complexes to shield today. I'm not gonna go too hard on G today, but
I got complex on speed dial.
Leave complex alone. Leave complex.
no,
He dies.
but like this man used to tell me that Anthony Joshua's followers on Instagram were bots. They weren't real people. Because we used to say, like, we used to have this argument about popularity, and we'd be like, yo, look at the social media. Look at how many people follow Anthony Joshua in comparison to Deontay Wilder. And he'd be like, they're all bots. And I'm like, yo, these Wilder fans are insane. Like, yo, they will say anything, do anything. They will do the homie. For real. Like, yo, it's crazy, right? So, this is proof right here. Joshua, after an L, made $85 million in one fight. Yo, realistically, I think Joshua made more for fighting Ruiz in the second fight than Wilder and Fury are going to make with their purses for fighting each other on pay-per-view combined. Go ahead.
You can't
Go ahead.
compare the two
Go ahead.
because
Go ahead.
that was given from the Saudi like sultans and stuff. That wasn't a pay-per-view fight. You get what I'm saying? So that's different from pay-per-view.
It wasn't in the UK.
Huh?
It was a pay-per-view fight in the UK. And it broke pay-per-view records in the UK.
I'm saying his.
But no,
his
keep going.
purse-
Keep going.
His purse wasn't from the pay-per-view buys. His purse was from the.
Correct me
Saudi
if I'm wrong,
investors.
but his purse is his purse, right?
Yes, correct.
So wait, correct me if I'm wrong. But when you fight, you get a purse.
Yes.
His purse was $85 million.
Yes.
And his purse was more than Wilder's purse and Fury's purse combined, right?
Yes.
So where did I tell a lie?
Because you're
No,
comparing.
no,
You're comparing apples and oranges.
No, I get what G was saying. G was saying that you're throwing in a dagger when we're talking about something else.
No, it's literally comparing apples and oranges. Because it's like, I'm talking about pay-per-views. We're talking about pay-per-views.
Go ahead.
Like saying the 85 million doesn't even apply to this conversation because 85
It does
million.
apply. So I'm just
It was a
once
set
again,
amount.
watch how I do this, folks. Watch how I do this, folks. Remember, my argument was star power. I was arguing star power. I was arguing the number of fans that want to see you. I was arguing the number of fans you have on your Instagram, right? I was arguing the number of people who are interested in seeing you as a person. The number of people who care enough to follow you when that's for free. You follow someone for free. To follow someone, you have to just care enough to look their name up and press the follow button. And that's how many people follow Anthony Joshua for free in comparison to Deontay Wilder. So that's what I was talking about. And when you have that type of star power, people offer you $85 million up front. When you don't, you have to take a gamble, right? Like Tyson Fury did, like Anthony Joshua did, where your break-even point.
You mean Deontay Wilder?
Yeah, Deontay Wilder and Tyson Fury.
You said Anthony Joshua.
Oh, my bad. Well, Tyson Fury and Deontay Wilder had to take this gamble where their break-even point was 1.2 million pay-per-view buys. That's their break-even point for all the promotion and all the publicity that fight got. That fight, that commercial, according to Boxing Scene, the commercial during the Super Bowl was seen by 100 million Americans. 100 million Americans saw a commercial for Wilder Fury 2, and not 1 million people bought the fight. So back to my point and how it's relevant, G, is when you have star power, you get offered money up front that these men have to gamble for. My point in the beginning, which is why I used the pay-per-view, which is why I used the Instagram followers, was to show one guy is so much of a star, he's offered up front what these men have to gamble for. Is it related now, my brother? Oh, yes, it is. Hush your mouth. So, like I'm saying,
I mean, you said
you know what I'm saying? I set the parameters. You interrupted my point.
All right, proceed.
And so when you interrupt my point before the conclusion is made, you embarrass yourself. Right? That's why you follow the bouncing ball and you don't jump ahead of it. Back to what I was saying. These guys had to take a gamble because one, they didn't want to take the fight that was obviously going to be more money. Back to another point I made. If they would have fought Anthony Joshua, it would have sold over 1 million pay-per-view buys. Easy. Wilder versus Joshua sells over 1 million pay-per-view buys. Fury versus Joshua sells record numbers in the UK. The common denominator in this equation is Anthony Joshua, but they didn't want to give Anthony Joshua the shot. Instead, they wanted to play this game of we're not going to let him in the sandbox, and I'm quoting Fury, something he said, we're not going to let him in the sandbox. So then they fought each other for a second time, and they went heavy promotion. They gambled, and they lost the gamble. Financially, this fight was not a success. Financially, this fight was not a success for the promotional companies. This wasn't a success for the promoters. It wasn't a success for the channels. It wasn't a success for Fox. It wasn't a success for ESPN. And it wasn't a success for the fighters because they didn't make bank. They're not going to get revenue off of the pay-per-view buys because this fight took a loss. And when it involves Wilder, the fights always take a loss.
Yeah, that's why Showtime.
Yeah,
Walked away.
that's why Showtime dropped them. So once again, like my original point was,
If they want to see the fight, if people they want to watch and they're intrigued by you and they really, really love you, they're going to tune in and they're going to watch.
they're going to watch the fight.
They're going to watch.
But to conclude my point, if someone's so popular that he's offered $85 million up front, and it's more than these two guys are making with a gamble on pay-per-view, then you do have to start looking at what's the best way to push certain fights. See, maybe you go pay-per-view if it involves a star like Joshua, but if it involves Fury and Wilder, maybe it's your best bet to go streaming or to stream the fights. But for me, the best way to put on these mega fights is to do it in a way in which it can't be bootleg. If you can control a fight or how much the fight is bootleg by using the streaming services, then you probably should use streaming services, right? If that's the way it goes. But if you can't control how the fight's going to be bootleg anyway, which it seems like that's the case. I mean, I don't know, but ESPN Plus has their thing. Fox has their thing. Fights are going to get bootleg anyway.
It's just so crazy. I haven't seen so many excuses in a fight and surrounding a fight in the longest time. I thought there was so many excuses around Floyd and Pacquiao. This takes the
That's what I want to say. I've never seen one fighter get so many excuses for why he's not successful, why he's not popular, why all the fights he's involved in takes a loss. Like why he has no boxing skills, but why he's gonna beat all these elite boxers. Yo, I've never seen a man have so many people do the homie for him. But you just dove into something. So we're gonna move on to the next topic, which are the excuses that are coming out for Deontay Wilder. Like you said, you went right into it. So now it's the boxing gloves. Fury's gloves were funny. His fists were at the wrist area of the glove. Deontay Wilder's costume weighed 40 pounds. What was the other? Oh, Kenny Bayless let Tyson Fury hit Deontay Wilder behind the head. I even heard someone said Tyson Fury was on PEDs. So these are the excuses that are out there. What are your thoughts on the excuses, Trip?
Yo, this is good. You know when somebody gets beat up really bad. That's how you know somebody got beat up really bad. You know what I'm saying? When all the excuses. Oh, I had Kool-Aid the night before. I stubbed my toe 3 weeks ago. You know what I'm saying? I had a cramp 7 months ago, and then I thought about it in the ring, and it was mental. I don't know. All the excuses, I'm just making those up because it sounds like all the other excuses that I heard. You know what I'm saying? That's how you know you got beat up. You know what I'm saying? But I feel funny about this fight. I feel funny about this fight. I feel funny about this whole ordeal anyway. But you know you got beat up when you start making excuses like that. It was 12 of them. It was 12. It was 12 of them. One came over, hit me. One came over, hit me. You know what I'm saying? No, Fury just beat him up, and people were shocked to see Wilder get beat up like that when they shouldn't. Especially if you watch Boxing Bros. You know what I'm saying? You should know that we said from the jump, we're putting skills versus the big right hand. And skills prevailed. That's basically what happened. And it's just tough for people because people invest so much in an image. Some people invest so much in what people say in words and not in actions. You know what I'm saying? Like some people, you know, they rather, you know what I'm saying, look the part. You know what I'm saying? But not put in the work to be the part. You know what I'm saying? And that's what it said. It broke a lot of people's heart. You know what I'm saying? This is what the sport is. It'll tell the truth about somebody. When you get in that ring, you know what I'm saying? It's gonna tell a lot about you. Everything you've been hiding, everything's gonna come out in that ring.
That's true. G.
All right. I'm gonna sound like I'm gonna get in my Boxing Bros UK bag. But I'm gonna have to credit another UK person, this time Anthony Joshua. When Anthony Joshua came to New York to fight Andy Ruiz, he got abused in there. And not one time did I hear Anthony Joshua come up with any excuse, whether it's legitimate or outrageous. This time, when Deontay Wilder has taken his first L, bro, I couldn't believe. I'm being honest with you. Wilder making it so hard for me to support him right now. Out of anything to say, why'd you come up with my costume was too heavy? I'm like, fam, I know you tried it out a couple of times. I know you looked at it in the mirror. I know you was like, this is fresh. It's going down. Black History Month, yada, yada, yada. That should have been the last thing you should have said. You know what I mean? I'm being honest with you. You shouldn't have said anything. But this is what I'm going to come up with an excuse for Wilder. Maybe he was concussed when they were interviewing him in the hospital, and he just slipped up. And, you know, now that he gathered his thoughts, I think he's like, damn, I should never did that. Because even Wilder supporters, and I'm not just talking about like regular Wilder fans. I'm talking about like the diehard Wilder fans are like, yo, this is crazy. I can't believe he said that. You know, like them LDBC dudes, Boxing Boys, like those channels are like, come on, bro, why you do this to us? You know what I mean? So it's just so bad.
It's the ring tells you who you really are, yo. It brings the truth out of you. The ring. When you're in that ring, who you really are. And the person will come out. And
then what's even worse, I don't know if it was Joe Rogan that did this, but during the Joe Rogan podcast, Deontay Wilder literally said he trains with a 45-pound vest on all the time. so when that got leaked, I said, damn, come on, bro. You know what I'm saying? Like, it just hurt me, man, because I really, with my heart of hearts, I wished Wilder just said, you know what, the better man prevailed tonight. I'll be back. and just left it at that. Because then, let your fans come up with pointless excuses and conspiracies and glove gates and all of that good stuff. But once it comes out of your mouth, now it looks like you're a sore loser. There's no way you're going to say 45 pounds made you lose your legs. Bruh, it was 273 pounds? It was Fury?
Yeah, 273.
That was 273 pounds on your ass that made you lose your legs. You know what I'm saying? So
especially the position he was letting him lean on him.
Thank you.
Like we showed in the video. It's like, yo, bro, only way you can stay up is by allowing him to be on your legs and putting all that weight on your legs. Like
so you got the nerve to blame your Mega Man costume. Like, bro, stop it. It wasn't the costume, man. You know what I'm saying? It was Tyson Fury putting his weight on you, even headlocking you, gassing you out. You know what I mean? It was a number of things. I'll even give you, even I don't think you should say this, but I can understand like the back of the head punch, even though you've built a career off of doing the same thing. But I can at least give you that because we can all see it. Like, yeah, all right, you got that, whatever. But still get up, bro. You know what I'm saying? Like, so that's the most I would give you in regards to excuses. Other than that, bro, please, man, just stop. Stop it with the, yo, King is here. Nobody cares. I'll be honest. And, I do believe, like, you're my heavyweight champion. Like, that's a real rap. Like, I do believe you're my heavyweight champion.
Not according to Jarrell Big Baby Miller, but that's another story.
Although you lost your title, I believe you can get it back. Now it's how serious you are in your determination of getting that belt back. But however, I do believe you can get there one day. You know what I'm saying? But coming up with all of these excuses, like getting overly emotional, blaming your corner for throwing a towel. I thought you were gonna die. I really thought this was gonna be Apollo Creed and Rocky IV. So they did the right thing. Wilder, please, man, like from a Wilder fan to you, bro, just go back to the fundamentals. If I were you, leave JD's, because clearly he didn't care about you and your family in the ring. Just focus on rebuilding your brand.
JD, he only promotes the right hand. That's the only thing he
promotes. He was not in the corner. They put the mic on him. All he kept saying was, "Step forward, throw the right hand, throw the right hand, throw the right hand." That's all he kept saying.
I like to say salute to Darrell, because apparently it was Darrell.
Andre Darrell.
Yeah, Andre Darrell, who was screaming in the corner to throw in that towel. He said he was screaming so much he was in tears, and that's why Mark threw in the towel. You know what I mean? So to me, salute. And so I feel like when other fighters understand Wilder, I get it. You're watching YouTube, people are hating on you. So what, man? They're not fighters. They don't understand the pressure. Like AJ, as much as like the disrespect I gave AJ, I said that one thing, I was like, you know what? Salute to AJ for not coming up with excuses. You literally have the same situation going on right now. And instead of you going like, hey, you know what, AJ set the blueprint, you said, nah, I'm jumping ship. Nah, it is what it is. I'm still the king.
After
ABCD
all
and G
that
of
trash
excuses.
talk.
And he talks so much trash about AJ too.
And that's why to me it hurts, because like you're making it hard for a brother like me to support you. I'm still gonna support you, but come on, bro. This is hard, man. You had Complex here last week looking crazy. Crazy, son.
I wish I could have been here. Once again, I apologize, Carl.
Salute to my man's Complex. Like, our boxing cousin, he held it down with me, but he was looking crazy. I was like, he talking about Walt. G can't watch it.
Much love the Complex.
Much love the Complex.
He came and he tried.
I wish I was here to be your mark, man. I wish I was here to throw in the towel, man. Y'all gotta be easy on my man Complex.
Please, man, just do better, man.
Oh man.
Well, if you know the song, sing along. And here it goes. It goes like this. There were 3 bronze bombers in the air. There were 3 bronze bombers in the air. There were 3 bronze bombers. There were 3 bronze bombers. There were 3 bronze bombers in the air. And the Gypsy King from London shot one down. And the Gypsy King from London shot one down. There were 3 bronze bombers. There were 3 bronze bombers. And the Gypsy King from London shot one down. That's what happened. No excuses. All right, so we're going to move on to the next thing. All right. what were your thoughts on the video of Deontay Wilder made finally breaking his silence, saying, "Your king is here. I'm as smart, I'm as kind, I'm as important." What were your thoughts on Wilder's video finally breaking his silence as the king of a kingdomless kingdom? I don't know. Go ahead.
Yeah. This got me like y'all. Let me hold this, G.
Do you, bro.
Pull out my conspiracy trilogy.
In preparation for the trilogy.
For the trilogy, it's trilogy.
You know what I'm saying? I thought that this fight, or how I just feel like these guys are planning on fighting 4 times anyway. I've been saying this. And something that you alluded to earlier, G, and I think this is also took the interest away from people, where people were starting to feel, because I know it just sinked the air out of the room when I found out that they were doing it 3 times, right? Mm-hmm. Deontay Wilder is gonna, I wish he would take some time off, but he's not. He's gonna try to do everything that AJ did. Everything just seems so fake and not real. That's all I'm gonna say from his thing. And it just sucks, but I have a feeling that we're gonna see this 4 times. And I don't want to. I don't even want to see it again. You know what I'm saying? I don't even want to see it again. After the beat down like that, where you look like you didn't even belong in the ring, and now you're talking like this, either something's up, you know what I'm saying? And I don't want to be too, but I just don't feel comfortable. I don't feel right. I just don't feel right. You got beat up like that, and you talking like that. It's just, I don't know.
G?
Man, yo, listen here. I blame Jack Reese for this.
They always want someone to give them something.
If Jack Reese just let my man win, we wouldn't have had this stupid video. You know what I'm saying? And another person I'm going to blame. Malik, it's your fault. Because you should have grabbed that dude's phone and like, nah, you're not going to release this. Not on my watch. You know what I'm saying? I can't.
Malik got to get a real job now, bro.
This dude really got on that mic and was like, "Yo, King is here. Is here." I'm like, bro, stop. You got beat, son. Like, go somewhere, go to the lab, study, watch film, watch the fight, see what you can improve, go to the gym, start running.
He need to take his ass to Detroit.
Yeah, yo, dude, stop. Like, it's crazy. Like,
he need to go. He need to take his ass to Sugar Hill. He need to take his ass to him and excuse my language, and learn how to box, like fundamentals. You know what I'm saying? Because what JD is telling him to do, the right hand, it's all in the right hand. No, it's not.
And this is another thing I forgot to say. And I have to give credit to Tyson Fury. I've been on here, clearly, multiple videos where I'm saying Wilder got the right hand of God. Hey, now I have to give Caden his props, you know, because for the longest he was saying, bro, I don't believe that right hand the way y'all are saying that. And I was like, yo, you're out your mind. He's dropping everybody. Bang, bang, bang. You know what I'm saying? And then Fury ate a couple of them in this fight. Like, he dropped Fury the first time. But this time, he landed a few of those, and Fury just ate them bad boys. Wilder, you can't say anything, man. Just stop, bro. Like, all this king talk, all this black power talk, all of this, everything. For now, just stop. Focus on improving. Yo, man, honestly, if Wilder today said he's parting ways with JD's, honestly, I will clap for you. I'll be so proud. I'll be extremely happy.
JD is the one that got him talking.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. He's the one who put the battery in Wilder's back that got him doing these foolish videos. And Malik ain't no better because he's a yes man. Because Malik should be like, yo, fam, to be honest with you, bro, I don't think you should release that.
Yeah,
I don't even know if Malik was around.
It was at
I
night.
can't blame Malik for that.
Nah,
I can blame Malik for a lot of other stuff, but
you know
not
what I mean?
that.
I'm blaming his whole squad. Because somebody should have been like, yo, you know what?
That's
Give me
what
your
it
phone.
is.
Especially while he's recovering. Bro, you don't need to be on social
Why
media
does that
right now.
surprise you? His squad consists of people who didn't even give him a real cut man, bro.
that
In
was
that
crazy.
fight,
That was crazy.
JD's was his cut man. We were just talking about it before we got on air. Joseph Parker fought a stiff yesterday, and he had Stitch Duran in his corner. Deontay Wilder had no cut man. He had no real instructions. He had no anything. But you know what?
JD
It's
getting 2 checks.
JD.
JD know you slime dog, you JD.
JD in 3. Somebody doing something else too.
For real.
JD the masseuse. I don't know. But yo,
Him and Shelly Franco. You gotta listen to Shelly.
Shelly was looking like, I messed up. I messed up.
Yeah, you got a good impression.
Yo, listen, real talk, man.
Deontay Wilder.
We'll make the offers. No, here's the thing. I'm gonna be honest. The video was just Wilder. If you haven't figured it out yet, you can't talk your way into victory over elite fighters. You could do it against Dominique Brazil. You could do it against Luis Ortiz. You can do it against these guys. Like, you try to talk. Like, you told Fury you brought him to big-time boxing. And in Fury's mind, he was laughing at you. Like, you have to understand. G also left out one thing I always told him. I said the fight where he lands the right hand and the opponent doesn't fall, he's going to get battered. I said that.
You did.
And that's what happened to him. Because the moment someone can take his right hand, just for a moment, if they could take it for a few rounds, he is done. He is done. He has no real understanding of boxing. And it's not just throw a jab. Why do you throw a jab? What's the purpose for throwing a jab? What should you do after you throw that jab? Controlling distance, controlling the ring, switching angles, how to actually clinch. He knew none of those things. He let a man put him under his arm multiple times like this with no fight. Like,
And I got a clinch, nothing. He was just, it looked like a guy he never boxed before.
yeah, it was that bad, bro. Like, it was so bad. We made a video giving you basic instruction for free. Wilder, bro, why are you stepping back? You're allowing him to take position without doing anything. And then you throw a jab, you don't step in behind it to take position back. You really have to start watching boxing. I say this all the time. When you play pickup basketball, you can tell who's played organized and who hasn't. Because people who have never played organized basketball before, they think it's just getting the ball and doing certain things. People, they know setting screens, high pick and roll. They understand certain situations, certain looks, certain defensive schemes, show, then go. Like, if you don't understand, you can tell Wilder doesn't even really watch boxing like that. Like, it's one thing, he doesn't even watch it. He knew nothing. It was sad to see. Like, everyone says, oh, like, you're a Wilder hater. Like, no, see, you know nothing about me. Since 2015, I actually like Wilder. I see Wilder wasn't improving. Everyone was starting to get on the Wilder hype train, and I said, yo, he's not going to beat the top fighters if he doesn't improve. Everyone was like, oh, Wilder's so great. I'm like, actually, he's not. He doesn't have the skills. When he was going to fight Fury, everyone said Fury was going to lose. And I said, yo, actually, Wilder's so technically flawed that Fury could come off his couch, fight 2 steps, and still beat him. It was a draw. The second fight, I knew it was over. Because Wilder doesn't know how to box. And if Wilder's not saying anything other than, I am going to
Learn how to box.
yes, I'm going to really go back to the basics this time. I'm really going to be humble. You're going to see the best version of Deontay Wilder you've ever seen. Wilder with boxing skills, then I don't want to hear it. That's the only thing I want to hear from him. That's the only thing I want to hear from him.
I don't mind Deontay Wilder disappearing for a while, like what George did. I wouldn't mind that. And he go somewhere, locks himself somewhere in Alabama at the YMCA and learn how to box again. Fundamentals. The reason why
Alabama.
He
I
need.
don't even think Alabama's gonna help.
Wilder's
Maybe
gonna
some
fight
guys.
4 fighters in one night. Arthur Spilka, Dominic Brazil, Luis Ortiz.
He need to listen. He need
George
to,
Foreman.
That look horrible, yo. He need.
Yo, it was so horrible. Mayweather Senior he said it was garbage and that he can't teach Wilder anything.
And
And Senior he picked Wilder over Fury in part 2, and he said he's garbage. I was like, my God.
Now go ahead, finish what you were about to say, because you know.
if Floyd Joy Mayweather Senior can't listen, if he said he can't, and he think he's the world's greatest,
The best trainer of all time. Not half-time, part-time, but of all time.
You know what I'm saying? It's the truth.
I'm the best, I must confess,
Can't
and
no
all the
one
rest
can't
is
contest.
no contest. He say he can't even train you, bro.
Then listen,
Yo, that's embarrassing.
that's
Yeah,
crazy.
it was bad. I was
Stop making videos.
I'm telling you, I told y'all this. For after the fight, I was like, for at least 2 to 3 weeks, it's just gonna be a bunch of Wilder bashing everywhere, and Wilder's giving ammo. Like every time he comes out with something, I go.
Unless he knows
"Hate about
something
the
that
body."
we don't know.
Yeah.
And that's why I feel uneasy. Unless he knows something that we don't know.
Listen,
It makes me feel
Ludabella
uneasy.
had the best game plan for Wilder. I honestly believe. Yo, bow out, negotiate something with Eddie Hearn and Bob Arum. Like, hey, you know what? Let me get the winner of that unification. You know what I'm saying? I'll just use this year to recover. And then, if anything, in the build-up, fight Andy Ruiz. You know, because Andy Ruiz is kind of in the same boat as
You
him.
keep mentioning Ludabella. Ludabella was trying to look out for him.
No, I agree. What I'm
No,
saying.
no.
Ludabella was doing his job.
Yeah.
No. What I'm saying is this is just recent. Like Ludabella just came out with this week saying this: if he was still working with Wilder, this is the game plan.
They
that
don't
he
have.
would
He
create.
don't have nobody looking out for him working.
Which is true, and that's why I'm like,
If I was-
I am nervous. I don't, Wilder, man, just get a new team, man, do something.
Exactly.
Because
Instead of
clearly
firing
JD's
Brillin, which
is
he
You
said,
fired the
he said,
wrong
but he
person.
said he's not going to fire Brillin now. You need to fire Shelly Finkel and hire Ludabella. Because hindsight's 2020. So now when you look back, you can see Ludabella was really trying to get you that bag. Ludabella was really trying to look out for you. And Shelly Finkel sold you a pipe dream that resulted in you having to get battered and beaten for a fight that didn't even break even.
I've been saying this for the longest. I don't know if y'all remember that he needs to listen to Mark and get rid of JD.
Yeah, JD's is just unbelievable.
Oh,
I would
really?
love to know.
hand.
Yeah, I would love to know JD's history in the sport. Like, I never fought
owned the gym.
professionally, but I fought as an amateur, and I'm undefeated as an amateur. And like, I went to school, and I didn't have to no longer use my head as a punching bag to like earn a living. So why would I? But I have a background in the sport. When I watch JD's, I'm like, yo, has he ever had a fight? Like, ever? Like, has he ever been in one fight ever in his life? Like, I actually wonder that about JD's when I watch him. It's like, I'm going to research JD's history and his background in sport. Maybe he has, but when I watch JD's, it just looks like a guy who is completely clueless. Like, anyone, anyone in that corner would have been able to tell Wilder to throw a jab, step in behind it, would have told him ways to set up the right hand. All JD's kept saying is throw the right hand. That's like any fan, any one of his YouTube channels could have gave him that advice. And then when he was bleeding, what JD's was doing, nothing. You could let the bald head brother who got slapped by Kenny Porter in Wilder's corner, and he could have done the same thing. You could have let that happen. He would have been crying more than JD's, but it would have happened. But like, seriously, like it's like these guys know nothing about boxing, and they're in the corner of the heavyweight champ, and he's speaking more than Mark Brillin, the gold medalist, former champion. Like, how does that happen? How does that happen? Like, I don't understand.
I don't know.
I guess the last question we have, and then we're going to be done with this, is should Deontay Wilder take the step aside money and allow Tyson Fury and Anthony Joshua to fight for undisputed?
That's not gonna happen.
It's not if it will happen, but should he?
Yeah.
Is the question.
Should he?
Yes.
I would should he? I can't say what another man should do. You know what I'm saying?
Once
But
again, bro, the point of the my OG. I mean, I know.
No. You said
what's the point? Like,
you said which should he?
no,
do?
if you should.
How about
he
this?
take it?
If you were Wilder, what would you do
Exactly.
right now?
That's what I said.
But that's
I
what
can't
the question
say
is.
what he should do, but I can say what I can do.
You're his advisor.
You know what I'm saying?
You're his advisor. All right. Let's switch the format for Trill. All right, let's switch the format for Trill.
I already gave my answer. I said disappear. I told him disappear. You know what I'm saying? So definitely take the step aside money and learn how to box. I said it, but I already gave my answer. I think he should just disappear and go to a YMCA. You know what I'm saying? And learn how to box. I think he should take the step aside.
That's what I was about to say. That sounds like you're saying step aside until you learn how to fight.
And take some more step aside money.
After that. I got you. All right, G. If you were Wilder's advisor, what would you advise him?
I got two answers, so you have to walk with me on.
Okay, gosh.
If I'm Shelly, right, and I'm thinking that I don't know, this is me speculating, but I believe Shelly just thinks, wow, this is the end of the road for Wilder, right? So if I'm Shelly, I'll be like, yeah, take the rematch with Tyson Fury, let's just cash out, whatever. But if let's say Lou was still representing Wilder, it seemed like Lou really cared for Wilder. I think you should take Lou DiBella's advice. Bro, don't do the immediate rematch. Broker a deal where you can fight whoever gets undisputed, get some time to train, build your skills up, and then go for, the Super Bowl win. You know what I mean? But as of right now, clearly, if it was me, fall back, Wilder, get your skills up. Don't take this immediate rematch. This is dangerous. This fight, like you just had the part 2, I don't think it was a career ender like a lot of people are saying. But if you immediately go into that rematch and the same thing happens again, bro, I don't know if it'll ever be the same because I don't know if the human body can take that type of punishment back to back. Like, I'm being honest. I would be like, you were my king. You know what I'm saying? Like,
You were my king. You were my king. What is going on with Wilder?
No. I'm just being honest. Like, if he goes through that back to back,
has ever been my king.
You're my champ.
my champ. But you know what I mean? I was thinking the reason why it's a joke. Nah. I was playing off of the whole Black Panther.
I got
you know what I'm saying? So I was like, he was my king until you threw him over the cliff. You know what I'm saying? So that's pretty much what I'm saying, man. So Wilder, reconnect with Lou, man. Please.
And a thing like that is tricky too, because Wilder done played himself. That question is kind of tricky too, because Wilder done played himself. He played himself by not taking a DAZN deal, right? So now, in a way, it's like, I don't know that brother's his bills. You know what I'm saying? Like, he done threw away $100 million and you was getting paid this crazy amount. Now you done got like 20 kids now. You know what I'm saying?
Pick a side, Trill. If you're his advisor, you got 30 days to activate the rematch. It is day 29 with 5 minutes left.
If I was his advisor, after that butt whooping he took, you know what I'm saying? I'm sticking with my first answer. You know what I'm saying? Like, man, you're gonna have to.
But do you believe? All right. So how about this? Do you believe?
It all goes back to everything that we said
Do you believe he can learn how to box? Like, do you think?
Yes.
You believe he can learn how to box and be competitive with Fury and Joshua?
Be competitive.
Yeah.
And that little elite level boxing.
Yeah.
Elite level boxing.
Remember, he's 34. He's going to be 35. Do you think?
George Foreman did it.
What I'm asking you is, do you think that he can learn enough to beat Joshua and Fury?
No, not after that. Listen, I always said the best fight I've ever seen him fight was the fight against Deverne when he went 12 rounds. That was the best Deontay Wilder I've ever seen. I've never seen that Deontay Wilder ever again.
But are you saying that he can't replicate?
Now he can't. It seemed like he lost it. You know what I'm saying? I said, and after that butt whooping that he took, there's no way that, like you said, G, there's no way that he can come back from a fight like that and look spectacular.
So here's what I'm getting at, bro. if you believe he's never going to be able to compete with Fury and he's never going to be able to compete with Joshua, this might be his cash out. Unless he gets an automatic shot at
one of these guys, and it in some way gets more bread later on down the road. But he can't compete with. We watched the same fight. He can't compete with none of these guys. I know we was talking about how horrible. He was telling me how horrible. What's the name looked last night? Listen, I'm sure he didn't look like homie did.
I'll be honest, man. If I was Parker's team, I would try to negotiate a fight with Parker right now.
Knock him out, bro. You out of your mind.
Because that's just if Parker gets in shape.
It looked like
right
Deontay
now,
Wilder never boxed before.
Let's not forget, the same guy you're talking about beat Andy Ruiz and dropped Dillian White in the 12th round. Those are two guys your man's never even been in the ring with, so we don't know what he looks like. In Joseph Parker, you can say he looked like trash, but Joseph Parker was fighting a guy he knew he was going to beat, so he was on the inside. He could have boxed him and tried to do stuff, but he worked on his inside game. I'll just say this, because I'm going to keep it real short, because this video is going on for a while. What's funny is, G don't listen to us. He doesn't. He waits until Ludabella said something I said episodes ago, before Deontay Wilder even lost. I said the loser of this fight should step aside.
Do y'all want me to constantly say y'all are right?
No,
you know what I mean? God damn it. I
don't want you to give the other guys the credit. No.
I'm just referencing other people.
It's not that we want you to say that we're right. But you for damn sure don't agree with us in the moment until later. And then when you agree with what we said, it's, what Ludabella said. No, fool, I told you that before this fight before the loss ever happened, I told you that.
You know my memory.
Yeah, all right. So like I was saying, I said this before this fight ever happened, that the loser of this fight should agree to step aside contractually, and allow the winner of the fight to fight for undisputed, with the caveat that they would get a shot, the first shot at the undisputed champion, right? Which is what Ludabella's saying, and now he's some genius. That means I was like,
I agree with you, but at the time, I thought Wilder was gonna win.
Yeah, and at the time, I said what I said because I knew Wilder was gonna lose.
And you definitely said that, and I said, I don't even want to see this fight no more.
So that's my take on it. Basically, I don't have anything else to add. I don't know if anybody wants to add any closing thoughts.
Please like and subscribe and check us out on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, and also please check out our podcast on all streaming networks. Know this video is kind of long, but you're definitely going to want to check out the podcast on all major streaming platforms. It's the Boxing Bro.
There were 3 bronze bombers in the air.
Wilder's still my champ.